Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So now you see that when we did pip freeze, nothing came out, right? So let's just say now we want to deactivate the virtual environment. What I need to type is deactivate. So now that I type deactivate, you can see that it's gone. Okay. Now let me do pip freeze again so you can see the difference. Now I'm no longer in my virtual environment. When I run pip freeze, you can see all the things I've installed in my computer. They are still there like that, showing me. But when I was in my virtual environment and I did pip freeze, the virtual environment is basically empty because I haven't installed any um, package into this virtual environment. That's what we're talking about now. It's just empty. It's different from the environment of my computer. So if I want to build an application, I will now go ahead and work in my virtual environment. Anything I want to install, I install it in my virtual environment. In the end of my work, after building the application, I can then use this pfreeze. I'll see everything I installed in that environment, and I can use it to create my requirements file. There's what we call the requirements.txt. Any person that want to use the application needs to install those requirements.txt. Now, your application can also be hosted in containers, which is a kind of little bit advanced topic. When you're putting it in containers, containers are an environment that is created to run your code. It's almost like creating on its own an operating system, and then you just install only your application. Okay, with those Docker containers, Docker now provide containers, for instance. With those Docker containers, you can pretty much package a full program and just keep everything as a container. Somebody will just install it. It will just create an environment for that particular application and run the application in that environment. When that happens, irrespective of all the packages that have been installed in that computer, everything about the application will be in that container and it will just run like that. Remember what we spoke about earlier? The versioning of um, packages will not be a problem. Okay. So why am I showing all this virtual environment? We are going to use it when we are building our app. We're going to create an environment for the app and build everything there. Each time we want to work, we need to get into the environment. We will not use the computer. So you activate it and be in it, then work from it. Any question? Any question?
No, no.
Okay.
We are looking forward to see.
Okay.
We are looking forward
You
to
can
see.
actually try this one on your computer, create your environment, and
Okay.
test all these things out. Then the other one we can do, I think, is Control Shift P. Yeah, because I'm working with Visual Studio Code. I can press Control Shift P, and select an interpreter. Before I go to this, remember I am in this particular flags location, this particular flags folder. In that folder, I've created a virtual environment. Now, if I do Control Shift P, Control Shift P, sorry, Control Shift P, I'll now see all of this. I'll select this one, select Python interpreter. Lay have a call. So when I click select the Python interpreter, now look carefully. You could see different Python interpreters in my own computer. I have Python 12. I have Python 9.6. I have Python 8.10. I have Python 7.9. I have Python 6.8. Okay. Now, the latest is Python 12. I have other older versions. If you check your own, you may not see all this interpreter. You may see only one version. There is a way in which I install different versions, but we don't really need that for this course. Now, I now created a virtual environment. You could see that when I'm trying to select the interpreter, it's even recommending that for this workspace, this Flask class workspace, I should use this one. It's recommended. If I choose interpreter here, anytime I open this Flask class to do a work, even though I don't activate the virtual environment in the terminal, right? It will use the virtual environment to run my codes. Okay. We'll leave this for now. When we start that Flask application, you will see something that would clarify this. Okay. There's something that will happen that will make us understand this point well. So even if you don't catch it now, don't trouble yourself. We'll come back to this, selecting the Python interpreter, and you see why it's important. Okay, so I think we've done enough for today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome. In next class, we might not also still jump into Flask because I noticed that there are some topics that we may still, just like we covered this topic today, okay? There are some topics we may still just need to hear about before we jump into Flask.
Okay.
So that will not be confused. Like if we didn't talk about this one now, when we start doing virtual environment, you may not really understand it. At least today, those key things, we've removed them from our checklist. Go ahead. All right.
I have a question. These other new class for these other people, they are asking when they are starting.
Okay, let me stop sharing and let me